Alrighty, so I've been seeing this team float around a little bit ever since Freyr's Holy Relic dropped, and I thought it was pretty interesting, so I wanted to give it a try. And I did end up having to reset twice with my normal sort of setup. I did end up giving... I have an attack defense set on Scotty, and I ended up giving her the rare rune that I normally give my Deanne when I do Nidhogg, which has max recovery rate rolls on it. Or they're not max, but it has full recovery rate rolls on it, so that way she can heal back, you know, after she gets, you know, taken a decent amount of damage, because obviously she's going to be the one kind of tanking here, so she has the red Tarmiel link on. For whatever reason, in these earlier runs, he would go straight for Scotty on turn 1, or like phase 1, and then whenever you would get into phase 2, he would just pound on Magelda for whatever reason, and it was just not going very well. So I ended up losing twice and having to forfeit just because he kept targeting Magelda, and I just ended up swapping her over to an HP defense set instead of the attack crit set that I have been using, and it pretty much solved the issues. I didn't have any, you know, other like crazy issues after that. The one thing that I have to say about this team that I'm not 100% in love with is the fact that, for me personally, I don't have extra dupes of Scotty for whatever reason. She's been on a ton of Ragnarok banners, and I have just never been able to pull any extra copies of her. So mine is only 1/6, and her ultimate and Magelda's cleanse are the only things that you're going to be able to use to heal, whereas sometimes you want to keep the debuffs on Scotty so that way you're getting more use out of her passive instead of cleansing off, and I feel like it's hindering me a bit because I can't necessarily just ult rush Scotty and get her ultimate to heal instead. I almost feel forced to use the cleanse sometimes, which is definitely not where you want to be with a team like this, because you really want as much synergy as possible when it comes to Nidhogg because of the mechanics and everything that you have to deal with. So, yeah, that's my biggest gripe. I did end up beating floors 1 and 2, though, so, I mean, I guess it's still pretty good, and I've seen a couple of people post that they've actually beaten floor 3 with this team, and I have to say, whenever I kind of got everything situated, the run itself was going very fast. Like, I think I did 2 resets, and then I did floors 1 and 2 within a span of like 20 minutes, which really isn't bad at all, considering sometimes you can get stuck on floor 2. Obviously, there could have been a little bit of luck with card draw and stuff like that involved, but overall, I would say that it really wasn't too bad. I mean, I'm in a good spot to where I could potentially try floor 3, but without having, without me getting rewards for it and everything, it feels like kind of a waste to try and, you know, use a whole bunch of stamina and stamina pots trying to see if this team can like beat floor 3 when I'm not even going to get the clear rewards for it. So I may end up trying it a little bit more whenever the reset happens, but I'm also wanting to go back and try the Archangels team a little bit more now that you know, things have sort of been nerfed a little bit on some of the floors with Nidhogg. So I do think that this is a really cool team, and it's very viable. Obviously, the big kicker here is a lot of people were already having trouble, you know, getting Freyja's relic to even be able to use like the Ragnarok / sort of unknown or like T-melee sort of comp that people have been using. So this is kind of just going to add even more relic needs, which is unfortunate because obviously Freyr's new relic is a Nidhogg relic as well. So luckily, I guess Scotty's relic is a dog's relic, so you don't really have to worry about it too much there. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know how much her relic is actually helping out. I do try to get it off as much as possible, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it's really helping like tremendously. Obviously, every little bit does help, but at the end of the day, I think the Freyja and Freyr relics are really the ones that you're looking for here. So I really wish that Magelda's relic worked in this in this fight, but unfortunately, her relic is capped only to the bird, which is really annoying. But yeah, let's kind of look at this run a little bit, and I don't know, I can comment over some of the things that I thought were kind of cool. So looking at a little bit of floor 2 here, obviously the biggest thing with you know, phase 1 of floor 2 is that you have to get rid of the immortality stack last, like as you're killing the boss, or else it'll absolutely destroy you. So Scotty obviously does kind of come in handy there because I'm not using team melee like I'm used to. I can't necessarily rely on big damage ultimate to take off the buff and kill at the same time. So it was on this run specifically, I was actually a little bit scared that I was not going to deal enough damage with the Scotty card, but luckily it did, which was great. The fact that he's putting on these little corrosion stacks and stuff like that is obviously good because it's kind of feeding into the Scotty passive, which is really cool. This is one of those scenarios where like I'm so used to cleansing and stuff, and you can see he is doing a really good amount of damage where I'm like, ooh, like I really want to cleanse, but I guess if you play it right, like I try to make sure that I'm gonna do enough damage here. He hasn't put on the sort of like it's like a buff that makes him gain HP back after each hit, kind of like Tarmio Link almost. But you can see how little his health bar is. I was like, oh no, like I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to kill here. But luckily, that last card actually hits a lot of like small hits at the very end of it when the ice breaks. So worked out pretty well there. I think one of the big things that you kind of have to worry about is if you're going to cleanse, make sure that you do all of your attacks and everything before you cleanse, so that way you can actually get the use out of Scotty's passive first. Then you can cleanse, you can heal up to full and everything. And then if he's going to put more debuffs on you in his phase, then that's fine. Like he's going to do that regardless. So you don't really see it too much in this phase 2, but I have to say in floor 1, or the floors that the runs that I actually ended up having to reset on, it was really nice just like conveniently kind of merging into level 2 Freyr cards to be able to stance cancel from time to time. You can see I'm already dealing really good damage like into phase 2 on just like the first run. You can see right here that Megilda is still ended up targeted, and she's taken quite a bit of damage here. This is where I use my Scotty ultimate for the first time. I think I'm gonna use it here. I assume, yeah. But I don't have any debuffs on her at the moment because he's targeted Megilda, unfortunately. So if he would have targeted Scotty like I would have hoped, then we would have been able to actually get some decent, extra stats and everything there. The heal obviously does not get Megilda all the way to full, which I think is my biggest issue at the moment. I know that I would have been able to heal her a lot better there if I were to have cleansed, which maybe honestly that would have been the play, because it's not like I was going to be purging off any debuffs off of Megilda, or off of Scotty anyway, so it's not like I was going to be losing any of her passives. So honestly, I really just like the dynamic duo that is Freyja and Freyr in this scenario. Obviously, my Freyja is not maxed out yet. She's only 3/6, which she was 2/6 all this time, but luckily I was able to pull one copy on Tyr's banner, and I have recently maxed out Freyr. So having Freyr be able to hit damage cap most of the time, and then just the fact that he can hit twice with his ultimate is really good for just securing a lot of damage. Comes in handy in phases like this specifically, where on phase 3 of floor 2, you have to keep him below 50% HP, or else he's going to gain some like crazy buffs. Or actually, I don't even know if he gains buffs necessarily, but it makes it to where you do not drop the immortality gauge. The whole point is to keep him below 50% for 3 turns, so that way he loses the entire immortality gauge over those 3 turns, and then you can kill him off because it gets rid of his immortality buff. So I don't know, there's it's just really nice being able to use this like heavy hitting Abyss ultimate that'll sort of do residual damage like in the following turns, and then being able to do like double damage cap ult with Freyr is really nice. And just the fact that he's giving you extra stats and extra single target damage, it's just you don't have a lack of damage on this team by any means. I think it would be so perfect if I had more Scotty dupes, but there's no way for me to get Scotty dupes. I really wish that they would just like update the coin shop or something, man. Like, I mean, Ragnarok and the OC characters and stuff like that are like designed for this game specifically, and the fact that it's just still the old year 1 coin shop sins and commandments in the coin shop is just incredibly annoying. Like, the coin shop feels so useless. Like, this would be a perfect scenario to grab some like useful units. You could put, even though they give out like they put these characters on banners from time to time and everything, it's not like impossible to get them or anything, but man, like it's if your luck is bad like mine is for Scotty specifically, you just can't seem to pull a copy of her when you want to. So in this phase, I am able to sort of, do I reset here and take off the buffs first? I don't know if I do or not, but I definitely ult here with Scotty to heal, and then I ult with Megilda as well after the Freyr ultimate, because every time you use one of her cards, it's going to give you ultimate move gauge, but using her ultimate will give you a decent amount back for lifesteal, which is really nice. and this should be the last phase where his ultimate or immortality gauge is in play. So now I can actually kill the boss off. Scotty having the debuff removal or the buff removal card is really, really nice here, so I can take off those extra stacks and basically just be in a pretty decent position here. So I also have a cleanse, which is really, really nice. I obviously, if there's no next phase, so I can't necessarily just use the cleanse after all of my attacks here. So I think remove the buffs, if I remember correctly, then I cleanse, like I'm doing, and then just do some damage for a little bit of lifesteal. So altogether, I would say that it worked out pretty well. It really wasn't too bad. I didn't even realize it, but I had to reset twice on floor 2 just from like either bad RNG or just I ended up getting, targeted too much. I think Freyja ended up getting targeted too much in one of the runs, and she just ended up getting killed. So I don't know. I really wish that there was a way for me to force him to attack a specific unit like Scotty. I wish she had a taunt or something like that. But hey, if you end up using the team, let me know how it goes. If you have any interesting strategies or anything with it, definitely relay them down below. But that's pretty much how it went for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.